What's up, guys? Welcome to Diggity, or welcome back to Diggity, a video game podcast, episode number 251. I'm Jeff James. With me, as always, an illustrious panel of two, me, myself, and the luscious Brody Faults. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. This is weird. We haven't been
It
here
is
for
very
a while.
weird.
Because, I mean, the interview that went out, well, we didn't release anything last week, and the interview that went out the week before was recorded like 3 weeks ago, so...
Yeah, we took a break
We
last
haven't
week.
podcasted for a while.
Yeah.
But we're back. We're back. We're
Dude,
bright-eyed
doesn't matter.
and bushy-tailed.
It's not even like riding a bike, dude. It's like, I mean, I can do this. It's whatever. Jump right back into it. All professional and shit.
Do this all day.
Shit. No problem at all. No problem whatsoever. But yeah, thank you guys for listening, for those continuing to come back, and for those who have just found us, welcome to Diggity, a video game podcast. This is where two brave men go out to the internet, explore the news, discuss the blunt opinions that they both have on the video game world, unlike most places. And this indeed is a safe space, or not safe space, for bullshit.
Yeah.
So you're welcome.
Yeah. Depending on how you look at it, I guess.
Anyways, every single week we bring you the gaming news from around the web, the World Wide Web, straight to your ear holes, moist ear holes, especially with that humidity now getting to the spring/summer season here. Whenever that's going to happen. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
Not in Indiana, but whenever that's going to happen, who knows? But yeah, you can listen to the audio version of the podcast every single Friday morning each week. And it's available on every single podcast platform you could think of, known to man. We got Pandora, we got Apple Podcasts, we got Google Podcasts, we got fucking everything, dude. Shit, I'm surprised we're not on AM or FM at this point. And then you can also watch us live every single Thursday evening, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Twitch and on YouTube, on Spawn Camp. So get on over there, which is fantastic. And then also, on social, Instagram and Twitter at Diggity Podcast. Am I missing anything or no? I think that's it. I think that's how you do that, right?
I think you nailed it. That part might be a little bit of a, we got to get back in that groove.
Yeah, we'll get in the
there.
groove. It's whatever. That's
Yeah,
the
it's
business
fine.
end of it. Anyways, how the hell you been?
I've been pretty good, man. Last week was a crazy week, so I was kind of okay with, not much news coming out and just kind of being able to take a week off. But no, it's good. I'm excited to be back in the groove of it, though. We've talked about it before, but it kind of feels like that weird emptiness when you don't actually record something for a week.
I actually almost shit my pants last Thursday because I was literally I think I was watching. We were watching Mythic Quest, and I sat there, and on my phone, I never I have it to weekly remind me podcast setup or whatever. And I guess I had deleted that one, but I didn't delete the record podcast one because I have two entries for that in my calendar. So I'm sitting there, and then it hits 9. It says record podcast. I went, holy shit! And then I went, no, we're good.
Nah,
But I freaked out for a second. I was like, oh, that's right. No, we're good. We're good.
How you been?
Man, I've been good. I've just been dealing with these fucking allergies. Let's be real for a second. This this season for allergies is horrendous because we never really had a spring.
No, we've gone from... Saturday was 80 degrees.
Yeah.
I got sunburnt to hell because I forgot what the fucking sun does.
I know. I hate when that happens.
And now the last couple days have been maybe 40 degrees at a high.
Yeah.
It's been ridiculous.
Well, and to get to that 80, we went from fucking 50 degrees the day before.
Yeah.
Not okay, you guys are exaggerating. This went from 50 to 60 to 70. No, it was it was probably 36 degrees that fucking night. And then all of a sudden it just shot up to fucking 80 degrees during the day. So we never really had a spring, and then all the plants and shit were what the fuck is this shit? And they all come out. And then we're prolonging all the pollination and stuff right now, and it's driving me nuts. One day I'll be able to use my nose. It'll be great.
Probably not, but maybe.
Probably not, but yeah. So I'm just dealing with crazy allergies. other than that, I mean, life's just fucking busy, man. It feels like everyone that I talk to now, too, and I don't know if it's because everyone's got to catch up from COVID. I don't know if that's a fucking thing still. Like, there's just a backlog of shit or pent-up demand, but, like, everyone I talk to, no matter what industry they're in, what job they're in, they're like, oh, I'm fucking swamped this month. I'm just swamped this month, or I'm swamped this month into next month. Like, it's just nuts.
It's outage season for me, so bring on the fun. We've got we had an outage last week, and then the other side of my building has an outage next week, and then we've got 2 weeks off, and then another outage, and it's crazy, crazy stuff, man.
And then
tis the season.
Then I'm traveling a decent amount in May. None of it affects Diggity, which is nice. It all works around it, which is dope. In May and early June, and then July I'm up for a wedding where there's one time where it might affect it, but I still think I can probably do it and be fine. But anyways, almost some video game stuff. Let's not roll through like our last like 2-3 weeks of playing shit. Let's probably just hit like a couple of them. But what the fuck are you even playing?
So I did finally finish up Elden Ring. That was, I think that was about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago maybe. But I finished my first playthrough and I was actually trying to get all of the achievements through Steam. And God, and now I have to play through basically New Game Plus 2 more times in order to get the 2 other endings for the other achievements, but I don't have to do all the side stuff. Like, I can just streamline it and get through it. But one day I'll do that, but I'm taking a little bit of a break from it. So in that time, I tried something that you would really like, and I told you you need to play it.
I know.
Lawn Mowing Simulator.
I took a note, yeah.
So I loaded this up fully expecting to hate it because I don't like mowing my own yard, to be perfectly honest. And I can't say that I actually really enjoyed my time with it, but I also could not stop playing it. So I don't know what that means. It is satisfying. Except for, until you like miss like 3 blades of grass and you have to go figure out where the hell they are, and now you fuck up all your lines, and it's hell.
Nothing worse.
I played a little bit more of It Takes Two with the wife. We're getting closer. I think we have maybe two more worlds left. Where are
you at it? What world?
I think we just finished up the winter world.
Okay. All right. That's where. Well.
There's 2 more before we can get like the letter back.
You've done the B, right?
Yeah.
All that stuff. That's way back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's way back.
I think we're at the winter side of stuff.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's still a fantastic game. I don't know why they're making a movie with The Rock in it. But whatever. Well, no,
he's not in it, is he? I thought he's just producing it.
Oh, maybe that's what it was. Yeah, he's producing it.
Dude,
regardless,
Chris
it is
Pratt's
a weird
gonna be
connection.
In that.
Yeah, Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt's gonna be the squirrel.
Probably.
The commando squirrel.
Played a little bit more of Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. I want to get back into it, but I was on that real big push to finish up Elden Ring, and then now I'm also like dieting and getting up really early in the morning, so I've just been tired of shit, and I have not been playing a whole lot throughout the week.
Mm-hmm.
And the last thing that I've really ventured into, there's 2 things. Sorry. Ooh. I got back into Hades, which I fucking love that game. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good, especially to come back for like a day or 2 and play pretty heavily and then kind of take a break from it and then come back later and play more, because it's a game that you don't really like forget what you're doing. It's nice in that regard. Quick to boot up
and just get in there and do something.
Yeah, it's such a good game. It's so good. If you have not played that, I cannot recommend that enough.
So cheap to pick up too. You can find like copies for like $9 sometimes.
Yeah. I have it on my. Let's see. I have it on through Xbox actually. So I actually played a little bit of it on my PC. And then I have also played it with that little Razer controller and played it through the xCloud.
Or Kishi,
yeah, that Kishi.
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever the fuck it is. Yeah. And I played it through xCloud, and certainly not the best way to play it, but it's bearable.
Mm-hmm.
But the last thing I played is Game Dev Story, which is actually a mobile game.
I've played that a lot.
Yeah, so that one, I've played Game Dev Tycoon and I've played Game Dev Story. I like Game Dev Story better. It's a simpler UI.
Me too. I agree.
But I think it actually flows and makes a lot more sense.
It does. It's harder too.
It's very difficult. I have almost gone bankrupt a couple times because I get a little bit carried away, but I'm actually gaining some steam in it now. I've put a lot of time into it, just sitting there like screwing around, and it's addicting. You're like, oh, just one more game. I'll put out one more game, see how it does. Oh, I gotta see how this one does, and then well, what if I did this real quick? So yeah, I'm not usually one for mobile games, but that is actually a game that I have really played quite a bit of time. I would say I probably have, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours in the last like week and a half or so.
Yeah, I've got a considerable amount of hours on it too. I mean, that's an Apple Arcade, and I hit that up.
Yeah, it's on Google Play, their Google Play Pass or whatever as well. And so that's where I got it from.
Gotcha.
But yeah, what have you been playing?
Oh, man. So I've played Golf with Your Friends a considerable amount.
Really?
Yeah, I played that with Eric, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Trying to get like trophies and stuff. Played Overwatch, of course.
Did you get into the Overwatch 2 beta?
I did not. A couple of reasons why. One, it's only PC.
Oh, that's true. Right,
I don't have it on PC. I have it on console. So I'm gonna wait until they do the console one. I'm sure they'll do it soon.
Yeah, probably.
But I didn't play it, but I watched a lot of people play that, and it looks pretty good. A lot of people are complaining about the scorecard, which, granted, yes, it's a mess. Like the scorecard design is pretty crazy. You can't see anything, but the rest of the game looks pretty good.
I didn't think it was a huge step up for the graphics, surprisingly enough.
No, I didn't.
Better, but
I know it's kind of weird. Like the obviously they did the character redesign. I think the characters look a lot better.
Yeah,
with their redesign and just how they're, because the characters are a different style than the backgrounds.
Yeah,
and the
backgrounds are basically, they look nearly identical to Overwatch 1.
They do. They're just at like 60 frames per second, and they're just like a higher resolution. I mean,
and then you throw in like new character models and things like that. It's just kind of not. It doesn't look bad. It's just a little different. It's going to take some getting used to, I think.
I know. There's definitely some shit in there where I was like, okay, but I also understand that like it's the alpha, so like maybe there's still a lot of stuff in there, but like even the training zone is the same.
Right.
So it's like, oh my gosh. But I saw the new champ get used. Their new hero get used. She seems pretty cool.
Yeah.
It seems like there's some quality of life improvements. The character's interesting, man. Like Orisa and stuff like that. No shields anymore. It's really all about like shooting and then deflection of damage by like basically spinning like a bow staff, and it deflects all stuff. And then like her ultimate no longer boosts people. She like basically spins her bow staff in the air, and it like deflects all damage within the radius and stuff like that. So there's some pretty interesting things. Bastion's OP as shit. Like they need to figure that out ASAP, because now he can be a turret and just move around as well as in a turret mode, which is nuts.
That's too much.
I mean, he's definitely like, his mobility is definitely a lot slower, but it's still crazy. But anyway, so I watched a lot of that. Played Overwatch. Played some NHL 2022. Played some City Skylines. Played Peggle 2.
Oh yeah, I forgot I saw you playing that the other day.
On my PlayStation. And trying to think of what else. That's about it, man. I mean, last week was pretty tough for me to jump on and do stuff. This week's been a little bit easier, so starting to ease up. But like you, I mean, I'm going to bed early. I'm a fucking old person. We're going to fucking move this show back an hour soon, dude, so we don't fucking miss our bedtimes. Jesus.
Right. My alarm clock goes off at 4:45, and that comes very early in the morning.
Oh my god. Yeah.
So yeah, by the time we get this done, I'm going to be like a half hour past my bedtime anyway.
Yeah, so I'm just going to rip through that, and then I'm trying to think of what else. I know I ripped around with some other stuff. Oh, I got into Spider-Man again, and I just went and just kind of cleaned up, got a couple more trophies and stuff like that. Just to finish some stuff out. I still have to go through and play all the DLC. I have not done that.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I don't think I enjoyed it nearly as much as the base game.
Yeah.
But it's pretty good stuff, and it can be pretty challenging too, especially the I think the last one they put out was pretty tough, if I remember correctly. But it's worth checking out. They're not huge chunks of content. I mean, you can knock them out relatively fast, especially if you aren't trying to do like everything in them. Just get through the story and do some of the new shit. But it's cool. A lot of cool costumes come from it too. So.
Yeah, I have to do it in order to get all the costumes so I can plat.
I don't you only have to get the base costumes to plat the base game? Because I think
pretty
they
sure
split them into.
Got all of them. I've looked into the base ones. Like that's what I thought. I went online, went to like Trophy Track or whatever it is, and I looked at like a website, and I was like, I fucking have all this, and I can't get it. It's like one of the mystery one, or not a mystery one, but it says buy all the costumes. I'm like,
Did you get the one for taking all the photographs?
Yeah, because I also got that trophy for taking all the photographs.
Oh, really? Huh. That was the last one I had to get, and that was a pain. That was annoying.
Okay. Interesting.
I don't know. Maybe you do have to get them then.
I don't know.
Because I platinumed it before
they came out, right? So that was my only theory. Was like, okay, because I can see there's still stuff like that needs to be unlocked, and it's based on suits that came with the DLC.
Oh, gotcha. Well, looks like you're playing the DLC, my friend.
Bullshit. It's crazy. Anyways, let's jump into our first topic here, man. Modern Warfare 2 officially announced.
Hell yeah!
It's pretty crazy. I mean, there's in essence a lot of people were expecting, right? But at the same time, I understand that like this is a normal time when they announce stuff too. But always amazes me. It always feels like the Call of Duty Vanguard just came out. And now we're getting an announcement about Modern Warfare 2.
I mean, it pretty much did.
It did,
right? 6 months ago.
Yeah.
No, I'm actually excited for this one because I really enjoyed Modern Warfare. That one was a blast, and then the two that followed wasn't a big fan of. The one thing I do really hope that they change is that Modern Warfare, I want it to be separate from Warzone. I want Warzone to be its own thing because that's why I uninstalled Modern Warfare and never went back to it, because it takes up so much space because of Warzone.
Yeah.
So I'd really like to see that split off into its own thing. I mean,
I think they will. I think they'll do it.
I think they will too.
I think like that whole thing was not to say an experiment, but it was just a way to load that onto people's systems.
Yeah, but they continued it for like 2 more games after that, which is crazy.
I know. I don't know. I feel like in the sense of Modern Warfare, they'll leave this one alone and they'll just do like a full-blown remaster or like a new campaign.
If you had a 500 gig console and you had Warzone and a different Call of Duty installed, that's all of your storage pretty much. Like, it's crazy, man. It's insane. But no, I'm actually excited for this. I will probably play this one. Which I have not. Well, I picked up, what was the one Cold War. I did pick up Cold War and I hated it. And then I never even touched Vanguard other than I played the Alpha, I believe.
Yeah.
But other than that, I didn't care for it. I am excited. I like multiplayer shooters from time to time, right? And it's nice to have one in your rotation. And right now, I don't really have one. I mean, I've played a little bit of, like, honestly, my closest thing to a multiplayer shooter is when I play Fortnite with my kids. Or Evan. I've been playing it with Evan lately. But that's the closest thing I have, right? And so I'm excited to have something back in the rotation. I hope it's good. I'm going to wait to watch some reviews from some like other, not necessarily like your IGNs or anything like that, but I want to watch some reviews from some reviewers that I trust and kind of see what their thoughts are on it. But I'll probably end up picking it up just as that multiplayer game to play, and
Yeah.
Especially since, we were let down by Battlefield, which was supposed to take over that whole thing. And God knows when Overwatch 2 is going to come out. So,
Well, there's reports saying that the campaign will feature U.S. Special Forces fighting Colombian drug cartels. That's supposedly the campaign is. And then Modern Warfare 2 will seemingly mark the end of Call of Duty's streak of annual releases. Bloomberg reported this. Call of Duty's planned 2023 release has been pushed back to 2024, and that lines up with other rumors that we've heard, which basically is Call of Duty devs are eager to move away from the annual release schedule, which might be a good thing. I mean, that's going to be maybe more campaign kind of shit in every Call of Duty going forward, and more lengthier campaigns, I might add.
Yeah.
I just, they got to be wiped out, man, from doing so many.
Oh, I'm sure.
After another, and switching back and forth between teams, like, holy crap.
Yeah, the way that has all kind of functioned has been very messy. If I remember, it's Sledgehammer is the one that put out Vanguard, correct? I believe that was a Sledgehammer. But I think they brought in Infinity Ward to help out because it runs on the Infinity Ward same like engine, right? Or not engine, but the same base game, right?
Yeah.
And basically did a new skin. But it didn't feel the same. I thought Modern Warfare actually had a good feel to it, but exactly
me too.
that where
I did too.
That continuous release, even split up between 3 studios, is just a lot to really expect. And on top of that, they're constantly pumping out new skins and new modes and things like that, and putting out maps. And I really think that breaking that yearly cycle will be a very, very beneficial thing for this franchise as they continue to go forward. And I think hopefully going out with Modern Warfare 2 and then taking a year off, as long as that game is solid and it lives up to basically what Modern Warfare was, I think it will do very well, especially if they can separate Warzone from it and do Warzone as its own thing. You can still include all the guns from the games or whatever, like what you've been doing, even though I think that's messy as hell too. I think it's cool. I think it really is a good opportunity for them. But there's also the chance that this could be the last Call of Duty game to make it to PlayStation, given everything that's going on.
So they agreed to they committed to releasing 3 more.
It was 3 more, or it was 3 more years?
No, it's 3 more games across multiple platforms.
Gotcha. I couldn't remember because there was some uncertainty at the time when they first announced that, and they talked about how it could have been up till 2024 or something like that.
Now it's to title. So they agreed to 3 more Call of Duty franchise titles, which again, I don't know what that entails. That could entail some shitty crossover thing or whatever, right? But there should be 3 more that hit to PlayStation. And so if they're gonna take a year off and they keep that steady each time, that's another 6 years of Call of Duty on PlayStation.
Yeah, and to kind of tie into this conversation, Ed just asked in our chat, do we think FPS popularity has gone down and JRPGs have gone up? I don't necessarily think that. I think JRPG interest has gone up in general.
It's because of anime and everything.
Yeah, because anime has definitely taken off, so people are seeing things like Tales of Arise and hey, that's anime but a game, and then they play it. Now, I also would be curious how many people are actually finishing these JRPGs, because JRPGs are notoriously a slog, and that's coming from somebody that thoroughly enjoys them, but sometimes they can be a slog and they're a little bit long-winded. But I don't think FPSs are necessarily going down. I don't think we see the same hype that we normally would, but Call of Duty still sells gangbusters. Granted, Vanguard did not.
But it's still outsold.
It's still sold
game.
very well.
Yeah,
right?
It's still outsold every single game.
nearly as well as like Cold War did or even Modern Warfare, right? But it definitely still did exceptionally well. And then there's a lot of hype around things. I think there's a lot of concern around things like Overwatch 2, but I think there's a lot of hype for it too. I think there's always that market, right? It is the game that lends itself so well to esports and to that overall competitive nature. And I mean, most people have played a FPS at some point in their life, so I don't think it's necessarily going down. I just don't think we see the same hype that we used to see around it, because we used to see a lot of new things, right? Like Titanfall came in and mixed up a lot of things and did a lot of really cool shit there. Granted, it never really fully made it as like an esport so much. And to go back and play Titanfall 2 now, you're going to get your ass kicked because the people that are still playing are crazy, very good. But yeah, I just don't think we're seeing the same innovation like as we saw through Modern Warfare, the original Modern Warfare, and then, Black Ops. And I think some of that has kind of slowed down to some extent. So there's not this massive amount of hype as, something like Elden Ring, even though that formula has been around for a long time. They switched it up enough to really garner a lot of attention. So
no, I'd agree. I mean, I'd say, like, there's been so many people that I would call like the casual, not like capital G gamer, that just had COD on every single system, that like I think the hype is gone because they just mainly expect it and they just continue to buy it. It's like Madden. Yeah. Like there's not like a crazy amount of hype when the next Madden comes out, but it sells like fucking hotcakes because so many people play it. Like I don't think there's really been a downturn for it. I think there's the capital G gamers have more consumer awareness, I think, because we got burned over the last 2 years of the pandemic with games that overpromised and underdelivered like crazy. So I mean that could be part of it, but I think that this will when you think about like actual true like FPS games, like the big ones, like what are we talking? We're talking fucking Halo. We're talking Battlefield, which that was a disaster, right? Yeah. I would put the Battle Royales in their own shit because they are. Like, I'm not going to throw Apex into any of that shit. I'm not going to throw Fortnite into that. That's fair. So then what are you left with?
Right. Right now, it's dull. It's very dull. Right?
So it's there.
And I don't think it's inherently a bad game. I just don't think it's what anybody wanted. Right?
No, they didn't want to go back to the historical stuff. Like, the historical stuff was cool to go back to one time.
Yeah, it's been overplayed big time.
But people want to play with guns that like you can get in real life, or guns that seemingly still seem like they could be realistic because they're just slightly in the future. Nothing like crazy shit, right? So, well,
even 2042 was, pretty much modern guns with just like some, cooler sights or something like that. A fucking robot dog companion or whatever.
But then you also had you had the robot dog companion, but then also some of the maps also tried some of the maps in there felt like they wouldn't be from 2042. Some of them felt like they would be like fucking way further in the future, like it was way too dystopian.
Yeah.
For some of the shit, and then like the solar farm area and shit like that was kind of weird. There's a cool map. But I was like, I don't know, like, put me back in like the subway map. You know what I mean? Like, put me in put me in actual urban environments, right? Like,
yeah, I don't think they've necessarily fallen off. I just don't think there's a whole lot to talk about right now, at least not in a positive light.
No, but I do think that this is going to sell gangbusters. I think people are going to flock to this like crazy. I think you're going to get people. A lot of people just, like you said, decided not to pick up Vanguard, so they're gonna sweep to this. I'm really hoping that they make the campaign longer in this. They spend more time on it.
Yeah. The last Modern Warfare campaign was
it was good. Don't get me wrong. I wanted more of it.
It was just a little short, right? And that's kind of what you expect from a Call of Duty to some extent. But no, I'm excited for it. I think it could really be a good game if they do what they did with Modern Warfare, but hopefully better. I think it'll be fantastic. I think it'll really shine and be able to last for a couple years while, they collectively put their heads together to create whatever the next one's going to be.
Yeah, and it's the same team that did Modern Warfare. So, it's going to be a pretty solid solid sequel to it. All right, moving on. We've got to discuss Microsoft and Bethesda, which is kind of weird. I mean, it's a Bethesda showcase because Microsoft owns Bethesda now.
Right.
So. June 12th, they're showing off. Obviously, they're going to show Starfield. I'm not a huge connoisseur here of Starfield content, so do you want to speak on that, and then I can speak on some of the other stuff?
I'm not. I've kind of been staying away from too much on it. I know they've kind of been releasing some like snippets of not really game. It's still like cinematic. It's like cinematic gameplay type thing, I guess. But it looks cool. I don't know if this is the game for me. I typically don't get into space things all that much personally. But I'll probably end up checking it out. I used to like Fallout. I used to like the Elder Scrolls series. I've kind of fallen off of those games because I'm also one of those people that has to search everything that you possibly can search. So a very small building can take a long time for me to get through, and then you spend a bunch of time inventory management or managing your inventory, and things of that nature. So that's the kind of stuff that doesn't interest me nearly as much as it used to. I used to be down for that, but now if I'm sitting down, I kind of just want to play the game. But there's a ton of hype around this, and I think it'll be a good game. I don't know if this is necessarily going to be the one for me. From what we have seen so far, it looks very, very good, which is impressive for a game coming from Bethesda, as they typically don't put forth the most graphically intensive games or anything that is really inherently pretty, I guess. I mean, Skyrim was pretty jaw-dropping for the time, but they have not really
exactly stood the test of time.
No, it certainly has not. And even with like Fallout 4, I don't think it looks great. I mean, Elder Scrolls Online looks bad. The Fallout 76, it looks like Fallout 4. I know that this is on a new engine, and so hopefully that this works better for them. The problem that I do foresee, though, is that typical Bethesda thing of it's not a bug, it's a feature, where their games tend to be quite buggy and tend to be a bit of a mess, and some people actually kind of like that about it, I guess. I don't know why, but yeah. Yeah, there's like an acceptance towards it, which is very odd to me, but I'm excited to see what this is. I don't know if I'm necessarily excited to play it, though, I guess. But it will most definitely be here because it is supposed to launch this fall, I guess. Getting close to winter. What is it? Is it November? November? Mm-hmm. Okay. So we'll definitely see that. I think we'll also see Fable here. I mean, granted, because this is the Xbox and Bethesda show. I think
it is. Hopefully, they're basically E3.
Yeah, it's basically what they've done in the past, but combined Bethesda and Xbox's show. I think we're going to see some Forza Motorsport. I really want to see Fable. That is probably my biggest ask. Is I'd love to just see something of Fable because it has been radio silent on that game for a while now.
Yeah, last time we got anything was just a quick little trailer, but it was a cinematic trailer. It wasn't even a...
Yeah, it was just a cinematic like intro and show off the name, right? But I'd love to see something about it because that is a game that I am very excited about and really, really, really excited to see what Playground Games has done with that. Other than that, though, I mean, there's a lot of projects that don't necessarily interest me, like Avowed, and what's that other one? Scorn. Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what they have. This is essentially, like you said earlier, this is basically their E3 that they normally would have put on just during E3 time that is, not really happening. So,
yeah, I don't think it's going to be... I think the reason why they're doing Microsoft and Bethesda is because it's going to be heavy Bethesda, and I think a lot of the other Microsoft stuff is just going to kind of be like quick little bits. Or it's going to be very small things. Like, I think you're going to see... Obviously, you're going to see Starfield. There's no way you're not that's probably what the majority of the show is going to be. And then Avowed for sure, because we got to look at that. A really brief look, obviously. But I think that they'll probably give a release window for that, I would assume, at this point. And then Fable. I think that they'll give a release date for Fable. I think it'll be far out still, but I think they'll give a release date at least, or at least a year at this point. And then a new Forza, for sure. Motorsport, I think, will be announced. We're due for that. And then Elder Scrolls. We'll
also probably see. Oh God, what is it? Redfall. I bet we'll see Redfall.
Okay.
That one should be coming somewhat soon. I bet the Coalition is probably going to have some sort of a teaser for something. I don't think this is going to be anywhere close to ready. Another pipe dream ask would be to see some Perfect Dark from the Initiative. Hellblade 2, we're about due for something more from them.
Yeah. I mean, I guess from the Microsoft side, we'd see a ton of. I think we're gonna see some hardware shit for sure, some hardware announcements.
Oh, yeah.
And then, like, maybe, I don't know, maybe they'll slim something down or they'll come up with another model for Xbox. You and I have always talked about just specifically just a streaming stick, essentially.
I think it's a bit too early to see.
It definitely is for that, but I think that we could see another version of the Series X, but something slimmer or something different. Like, I mean, I don't think that's behind them at all. I think that there's something that they could probably do. I definitely think that we're gonna get another acquisition announcement for sure.
Oh, really? You think it's gonna be the Ubisoft one that everybody's been rumoring lately?
I don't know.
There's rumor that Ubisoft is getting bought up.
If they bought Ubisoft, it's hard for me to believe that, only because Ubisoft is clearly trying to get into there's video games, and then they're just trying to get just into software. Like Rocksmith that they announced is not like the latest version of it. That's as much as its own platform and service and its own entity as it is a fucking video game. So I just don't see that. I mean, maybe. I mean, they also bought crazy shit that we had no idea that they would go buy. But I would also assume that you would want to sit back from making a massive purchase like that while you're trying to fucking get the Activision one through.
Yeah,
because let's also be honest, I mean, all the Activision Blizzard shareholders unanimously voted yes for Microsoft to purchase Activision, but just recently passed. But they still have to go through the SEC and all that shit. But you're gonna start really getting to this shit of monopolization and the questioning of it, especially if you try to really pick up two massive things. Plus, I think the rumors was more private equity was looking to pick up Ubisoft, not Microsoft. Like there's some private equity group. From what I heard, I don't know. I could be wrong.
Yeah, so Ed said in the chat Stalker 2, which I don't think we're going to hear anything about Stalker 2 this year, considering everything going on in Ukraine, and that has been postponed indefinitely, considering everything there.
Yeah, that's not happening.
He thinks Platinum is going to join Xbox, which I don't necessarily think so. I'm not sure what. I think they're actually going to be quiet on acquisitions for a while until they get this Activision Blizzard thing completely shoved through. I don't even think they're going to make any small ones currently. I think they want to get that shoved through first, and then after that they'll probably continue on the path they're going. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to be a little bit. I don't want to say quiet. I don't think it's necessarily going to be quiet. I think it's going to be more of just a little bit more. I don't even want to say that. I think there's going to be enough big announcements and big things here to still be exciting, and I think there's going to be some smaller things. I also had heard rumors of like a New Vegas 2 type of thing. Now that Obsidian is under the umbrella, as well as Bethesda. So that would be something that would be really cool to see Obsidian work with Bethesda. I mean, I know they're obviously working on the Outer Worlds 2 right now, but even just a quick announcement of like, hey, we're going to be working on New Vegas 2, that'd be cool. And this shows that they actually have an unannounced project anyway. I think it'll be a good show overall. I don't think that there's going to be anything completely jaw-dropping that's going to catch us completely off guard. I have an idea that, we probably know most of what's going to be here, and it's just going to be more in-depth. id Software is working on something as well that is unannounced currently, and it has been a decent enough time in between Doom Eternal that they could really come out with something pretty cool here. So it'd be interesting to see what that is. But yeah, I don't know, man. I think this is going to be a weird year, I think.
Yeah, it might be. I think it's going to be a year of kind of like, hey, check this out, and there's very little news.
Yeah.
On things, it's just like a quick date, and that's about it. And like that's all they can do. Like, I mean,
right?
Shit. Like anyone, like people have rumored about like, oh, Elder Scrolls 6, we're gonna get like such a big look into it. Probably not. They're so focused on Starfield right now.
Yeah.
Like they don't want to take away from that. I think you will get a deep look into Overwatch 2 only because of the response online. There's 1.5 million people the other day viewing it on Twitch. At one point. That's crazy.
It would be pretty... Well, the bad part is, though, I mean, that deal isn't gone through yet, so it may not be at this
That's
Xbox
true.
Bethesda
That's
event.
very true. That is a very good point. That is a very good point.
But it also wouldn't be necessarily a terrible look for Blizzard to team up with Xbox, since everybody knows this deal is going to probably 90%.
I mean, they're
right?
also just a third party at this point, right?
Right.
In legal sense. So they could be like, blah, blah, blah from Activision, and he comes out and just shows Overwatch 2 because we know it's coming to fucking Xbox and PlayStation. And
Xbox has done that historically in the past during their events too, and PlayStation does it too, right? Showing third party is not against the rules. But it would be cool, with this beta and everything that's going on right now. It'd be really cool to see, like, maybe they give us an announcement date for Overwatch 2. That would be a massive win for Xbox in that regard.
It would make Xbox look like they got their shit together, yeah.
Yeah,
when
but it would
probably
be,
was expected already, but yeah.
Right. I think that'd be a good look.
Yeah, no, for sure. I also think we'll see updates for Halo Infinite. I think we'll see some updates for Sea of Thieves. I mean, not even updates for Halo Infinite. We still need the fucking full game. Like, we're still missing co-op.
Yeah. Which, Halo Infinite is in a fucking bad spot.
It's in an infinite loop right now.
Yeah. It's in a terrible
spot. Fucking good. I am excited to see the new Forza Motorsport because I do want to see next gen Forza.
Yeah.
That's going to be Motorsport, which I think is going to be really cool. I mean, Horizon is fantastic and looked fantastic, but I mean, let's be real. Motorsport is like top tier graphics kind of shit. That's unbelievable.
I mean, that's going to be something that's way more comparable to your Gran Turismo. I mean, because even when Gran Turismo launched, everybody was comparing it to Forza Horizon, and that's not a fair comparison. It's a very, very different game. Yeah, it's a racing game, but one's an open world and the other is a closed track.
And I guess we could see DLC for Forza Horizons.
And I bet we will, because they have not announced any as of yet, and they definitely had plans to launch some. So that's actually a good call too. I bet we will most definitely see the first DLC.
Perfect Dark would be something.
Yeah,
that was teased. I mean,
I think that's a little bit of a pipe dream, but yeah, I'd love to see some Perfect Dark. That's one that would be another huge win, a nice feather in the cap for Microsoft for sure.
I know it's so okay. So, Gears.
Yeah, the Coalition has an unannounced project currently.
I wonder
we
if
don't know what it is. Yeah, I honestly wouldn't be opposed to seeing the Coalition do something else too. I mean, I like Gears, but I think it's kind of running its course to some extent, right?
I also think the way that its gameplay plays was perfect for 360 when it came out.
Yeah.
The product graphics and yeah, like everyone looks like a Fisher-Price firefighter. You know what I mean? Right.
Yeah.
Or what were they called? Like Mighty Heroes or whatever. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. They had like the big feet. They had the big chest. Then everything else was kind of like like it's just kind of weird.
Yeah, and it's kind of in that same vein as like the Space Marines, right? Like that.
Yes.
At that time, it was fucking awesome, but now it's starting to be a little corny and played out, I think.
I mean, what we really need is we need them to just fucking not have buggy games.
Because
that's a fucking
we did
theme.
Have some issues. For the most part, I mean, I didn't hear of a ton of issues with Gears 5. I mean, I know we ran into that one specific issue that really kind of ruined our experience, but yeah, I think overall it was relatively smooth, but yeah, there was some problems.
What do you think the odds are of them allowing a beta just immediately
for
Starfield? Like that day they announced beta's open.
I don't think there will be a beta considering it's a single player game. If anything, they could do a demo, I guess, but it would be
doesn't it need network access though in order to do a bunch of shit, like procedurally generate different shit? Because isn't that one of the big things?
Possibly. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't kept up on it nearly as well. Our resident expert, Nick, in the chat will probably let us know.
You think that... Okay, so this is June 12th that this is going to happen. Do you think that Nintendo does one pretty close as well? Or do you think this is a year that people really spread it out?
I
think with E3 gone. Because everyone still kept... Not everyone, obviously not Sony, but... Ubisoft, all of them still kept remarkably close to each other, even given a digital E3.
Mm-hmm. I think we'll see something from Nintendo near the end of May. I don't think they're going to quite get into June, but it's been a little bit since we've really had a Nintendo Direct. The last one announced Wii Sports, which so far has pretty bad reviews. Or not Wii Sports, sorry, Switch Sports or Nintendo Sports or whatever the hell. I'm okay with them spreading it out, right? Like just because E3 was always this time of year doesn't mean everything has to be right here, especially if E3 is not happening. So spread it out a little bit, even over the course of like a few weeks apart, like 2-3 weeks. I mean, Sony's probably gonna do something in May like they did last year, like right before E3 time. Xbox basically kept their same time slot they would have had this year at E3. I mean, it's nearly identical to what they typically do. So
you're saying you think Sony's going to do a bunch of stuff beforehand?
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, they did kind of something like that last year. It wasn't a bunch of stuff, but they did. Mm-hmm. They did a state of play prior to going into E3. Granted, it wasn't the most exciting thing in the world, but I think everybody will kind of be in the May, June, July area necessarily, but I mean, that's also 3 months, right? But I don't think it's all going to be packed into, 2 weeks or even 3 weeks. I think it's going to be spread out a little bit.
Okay. Brutal part is it's at 10 a.m. Pacific.
Right.
1 p.m. Eastern time.
At least it's on a Sunday, though. So
yeah, I do really appreciate that. I mean,
I do too.
Because when it was all fucking
throughout the week, it's a nightmare.
God, it's terrible, dude. Terrible. Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, it's going to be interesting. I do definitely take your point though, where it's like, do they really want to, even on the smaller acquisitions? Like, at this point too, like once you go pick up like someone big, I don't even think it's really worth announcing. Not to sound like an asshole, but like I don't think it's really worth announcing, saying you're picking up like smaller studios.
Yeah, depending on what the studio is. I mean, they've done a good job of basically, if they're acquiring smaller studios, they've kind of done it as like a piecemeal where they have like 3 or 4 of them that they're announcing at a time.
For this, yeah.
But I think with everything going on, they have their eyes set on getting Activision Blizzard, and I don't think they're going to do anything to kind of even remotely rock that boat. I think they want to obviously get that forced through first. And, and Ned also pointed out we have Summer Games Fest as well.
Yeah, which...
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, P3's pretty good friends with Jeff Keighley, so I'm sure there'll be like some little announcement to it at Summer Games Fest. But I'm looking at Summer Games Fest being more indie based, and also
that's what it was last year, right?
Yeah, I mean, indie based and being like maybe some deep dives into some stuff. Maybe I don't know. I don't really see a lot more.
There is the chance that Summer Game Fest could be bigger this year, considering that E3 is actually canceled. Yeah. And also, each year, Jeff Keighley seems to be getting, more and more big announcements for, Game Awards and things like that. So it's very possible he may be actually getting some serious pull this year, especially with everything in the state that it is. But I don't think obviously it's not going to take away from the Xbox Bethesda show. It's going to be more of its own thing. I think you're going to see probably a Kojima game.
A Kojima game, or at least an announcement.
Yeah, some sort of weird like fever dream of a trailer.
It Takes Two, probably trailer for a movie, or
more. Maybe.
Well, not maybe a trailer, but more information from Youssef.
Possibly, yeah, or even a sequel to it. I wouldn't be surprised to see a sequel to it as well as it's done.
2.
Yeah, It Takes Two squared.
Yeah,
I don't know. Something. But yeah, no, I think this would be a good season. Like I said, I do hope that they kind of spread it out because it's so much to take in. Like last year, I was taking good notes and we did all the coverage and everything, but it was just so much to take in all at once that basically you only remember the big announcements and everything else just gets overshadowed.
It just gets washed.
Yeah, absolutely. It's too hard to keep up with, so... I'm excited, though.
Whatever it is, it's going to be crazy. I'm sure PlayStation's going to come up with something crazy. Nintendo's going to announce something batshit crazy, and we're all just going to sit here going, oh! But hopefully, they're all on, like, Sundays or weekends. I think that makes more sense anyways. I also never really understood why, like, they don't... If I was Nintendo or if I was Xbox, it'd be like, the showcase takes place over 4 days, and you do, like, 30-minute episodes. And that way you get the most shit. Well, you just get viewers and you just get people to retain stuff.
I don't like that though. Fuck that. I don't want to cover that.
Me. That's just me.
But historically, Nintendo does their directs on Thursdays.
Yeah.
Because I usually have to write the show notes for right before we're going into a show. Not my favorite day of the week to do it, but
I will be pissed if fucking Sony buys Sega, because then that means Sonic will be exclusive to PlayStation. It'll be horrendous. Anyways, I think we're good, right? That's the last piece. Do you have anything else you want to say before we close out, or?
Yeah, I think I'm good, man.
Okay, perfect. Cool. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Again, if you want to watch the video version of this podcast live every single night, every single night, good God, no. Every single Thursday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Twitch and YouTube. You can do so. You can also check out older recorded episodes of the show in video format on the Spawn Camp YouTube channel. You can go on Twitter and Instagram as well to see details on us. You can slide into our DMs at Diggity Podcast, both on Instagram and Twitter. And if you want to listen to the audio version of the show, you can do so on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Pandora, Spotify, God, you name it. We're on every single platform. And that the audio version of the podcast goes live every Friday morning, very early, so that you can most people would be able to get it for their commute, which is important to us because that's when I generally listen to podcasts. And when I like to listen to podcasts. I don't really like to listen to music in the morning. It's too fucking...
It's too much.
Too much. I just want to hear people talk about crazy shit.
Yeah, so, absolutely.
Cool. Until next time, guys, we will see you around. Bye.
Bye.